How do you see the Congress Party's chances in the Lok Sabha election?
Very good. I think there is groundswell. People are fed up with lies and lack of performance. People have pain points today that have not been addressed, whether it is jobs or effect of demonetization, farmers' distress, or women's security. All of these things matter to them. All the promises made during last election have not been met. And people are saying, hey, enough of this lie, okay? Don't divert my attention from the real issues to some other issue which really don't matter to me. And if enough people think about it, it will make a huge difference.
There's a constant, kind of impression that's given out that that in the elections it's Modi versus who, and there's no alternative to Modi. How do you see Rahul? I mean, do you think he
I don't
poses
think
an enough challenge?
I don't think that it's Modi versus Gandhi. It is really democracy versus something. It is really freedom versus fear. It is truth versus lies. It is trust versus mistrust. So you got to look at this broader idea. A country of 1.2 billion people fighting on a man? I mean, what are you talking about? We have to fight on an idea. Okay, you can't fight on one person, but you got to fight on an idea. What kind of a nation we want to build?
The idea that the Congress represents vis-a-vis the idea that the BJP represents.
Idea of Congress is rooted in democracy, freedom, truth, trust, inclusion, diversity,
And the BJP's?
development. BJP is controlled democracy. One man show. He has all the answers. Okay, he's going to solve all the problems.
So the comments that you made on Pulwama, they've got the BJP very riled up, and they've said that you're talking in the language of Pakistan, you should go to Pakistan and things like that. Do you?
Shame on them, okay, that they are attacking me and my nationalism. Who are they to attack me on nationalism? Okay, bunch of clowns telling me.
But you think you could have been more careful?
No. There's nothing to be. Why should I be careful? I spoke my mind. Okay, I didn't speak anything wrong. Okay, you take things out of context. That's your problem. I said very clearly, this is my personal view, outright. I believe, based on my Gandhian background, coming from non-violence, truth and all that, I believe whatever government did is okay. I respect that. I respect our soldiers. I respect our Jawans. I said all that stuff. Now you want to take that and twist it, I can't help, because your mind is crooked.
So you had been a key figure in the telecom revolution, the years of the Rajiv government. You were an advisor to the Prime Minister, and then for a long time we didn't see you. Then we saw you again when the UPA came from 2004 to 2014, and you were part of the Knowledge Commission. You headed the Knowledge Commission, the Innovations Commission, and then again we didn't see you for some time. What's made you come back to the elections?
I think Congress Party today is at a point where we need to really put all our resources together to get back in power. I worked with Rajiv Gandhi for 10 years. Then when we lost government, naturally, I went back to put my personal life in order. Then when Manmohan Singh government came in, I thought I could come and make a contribution. And now I once again believe I can make a contribution. It's my duty to come help.
You talked about power centers and confusion because of the power centers. You think the party could have done more to address that perception what in your view would have been a better strategy to counter the view, because we've seen things like Dr. Manmohan Singh being called an accidental prime minister, the opposition would call him a puppet prime minister. And
Whatever you
that
call,
impression kept
yeah,
gaining
but
ground.
whatever you call, he was a great prime minister. He delivered. He worked hard.
Fail him?
Not just party failed him. I don't think it just, again, lies. Lies to say he was a puppet prime minister. It's a lie to say that he was an inefficient prime minister. Lie to say it was a reluctant prime minister. Okay, it's all lies. But Manmohan Singh is not the one who would come out and say, hey, wait a minute, I want to fight this lie.
But you think he should have done that?
No, I wouldn't do that too. Because what do? Okay, because if you jack it up, they will jack it up because they have army of paid people to lie. Okay, you're just individual. You're not going to fight that kind of lie. I have suffered that in my life, so I know what it means. You just have to ignore and let truth prevail, and truth will prevail.
So, same kind of an image perception, a problem of that image trap or identity trap has happened with Rahul Gandhi. You see all kinds of appellations going around, someone calling him Pappu, someone calling him by some other name. Last year when he'd gone to Berkeley, he said that this was the creation of the BJP's people. But when you also look at his own political graph from 2004 till now, do you think he lacked the kind of political commitment? Because again, till the time he became party president, we didn't see much of him in the sense of toiling like a political leader should. Should he have done more?
You look at from his perspective, okay? Only he can answer that, but I'm just giving you my personal view. When Dr. Manmohan Singh was in power, he made conscious decision that I should not interfere. If I interfere, I would be undermining the Prime Minister. So it is better to give him free hand and not get into day-to-day management. Okay. Then, after 2014, he said, I need to take a year or two to become president of the Congress party. Once I am president of the Congress party, then I am in control and command, and then I can begin to implement my plans. So, you and I may have a different idea of the time scale. He may have a different idea of the time scale. It's a little late maybe from people like us who believe he should have done it faster because we were anxious, but he took his time.
Comments on Pulwama and made you a sort of favorite target for Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah and the BJP. But you think that you could have used better judgment in the way you said what you said?
No, I don't think so. I said whatever I said, I would even say it now. Okay? I mean, I as a citizen, senior citizen, I'm 77-year-old, I'm entitled to ask questions, bhai. Okay? It is my moral responsibility as a public figure. Okay? I may not have title, I may not have designation, I may not be in the government, doesn't matter.
But the BJP then says that you're talking the language of Pakistan or French.
You can say that even if I breathe, you can say you are breathing Pakistani air. I mean, come on, give me a break. Okay? Don't be stupid. Okay?
But do you think that this thing of the manner in which the BJP invokes him?
They do that. No, but they do that because they lie. They attack. And then they give headlines. And then they promote. Okay? How do you deal with liars? They are petty fellows. Okay? They are desperate. That's all I can tell you. Any decent human being would look at comments and then make a decision and not just pick things up out of context and make something completely out of it. 2 and 2 is 39, and then go gangbuster on it and spend millions and millions to promote that. Okay? And then I'm supposed to respond. I'm not going to respond to these crazy people. No way.
The Congress manifesto promises a slew of reforms, economic, social, but given the experience that the voters have had in the last 5 years, and the Congress's constant thing is that you promise the sky and you fail to deliver. With the kind of promises that you've made, your party's made in its manifesto, do you think they're all implementable, or could this?
I can tell you at this age, based on the experience I had, we will implement 80% of it. I don't guarantee 100% because I don't know. Things do happen. Politically it may be right to say we will deliver 100%, but reality would be if we deliver 80%, that's a huge success. I have gone through all 52 promises we have given. I believe most of these promises are doable. What we would like to do when we come to power is within first month, sit down with each of the ministers and say, your job is to do this. Your performance will be judged based on this is the deliverables. We have never done that systematically. If you don't deliver this, we'll transfer you. We'll appoint somebody else who can deliver. I think that should be the promise we should make to people. It is possible to do it. We have had lot of interactions.
Government system that is now increasingly reliant on coalition partners. This was one of the problems that the UPA would always talk about, and Dr. Manmohan Singh himself would say that coalition compulsions prevented us from going all hog. Do you see a problem?
We would, I think ideally,
because you can transfer your own ministers, but how do you say that to a coalition partner?
to negotiate with coalition partner. That if coalition partner is going to be taking this ministry, saying, look, you are taking this ministry because collectively we are promising this. You want to negotiate that a little bit? Let's negotiate that before you are appointed. Okay? Let's say I'm Minister of Education, hypothetically. And Minister of Education happens to be from some other party or railway or, Navy, or, seaports or whatever. Saying this is what our manifesto promises. Do you want to add? Do you want to subtract? Let's negotiate. But once negotiated, we will all, nation would be watching you.
So much.
Thank you very much.